Hello, how are you today, this evening, this afternoon, tonight, wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is, how are you? If you're tuning in for the first time or you've tuned in before and you're a fan of this show, if you support this show, man, I appreciate you on behalf of 495. This is Casting 495, Celebrities Worldwide, and I am your host, One Sir Grove, OSGOE. I'm your boy. So, yo, check it out. People now have these protruding from their ears, wireless, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, headset, headphone devices that, again, they have no cords, they go in the ear, Apple product, signature trademark, and other companies, Android, you name it. They're wireless, no cords, you just have them in your ear, and it's a fad. It's what a lot of people are doing now. I don't have Apple products, never had them, not against them, just never owned Apple products, ever. So with this new trend that you see in this current world of ours, timeline of ours, people are walking around, it's like every other person has in his, her ears these protruding, that is, hanging, dangling from, sticking out of, little tiny white, just a few centimeters, a little white headphone sticking out, no wires attached, no cords, right? So perhaps you have the same. Maybe you don't, and you have something that's different. Maybe you don't have anything at all, and you just kind of cut the cord, so to speak, and you don't have any fucking headphones or earbuds or anything in your ear, and you see these people around you. We've entered into a really interesting time in history. Some of you are unfamiliar with a TV show called Quantum Leap. Some of you are unfamiliar with the TV show called Sliders. Some of you are unfamiliar with a TV show called Stargate. Some of you are thinking, Grove, come on, man. Cut the shit, dude. Who the fuck wouldn't know about Quantum Leap or Sliders or Stargate or 1 or 2 or all of them? I mean, come on, man. Fucking those shows were and are some of the best shows ever. Well, dude, some people, they don't watch sci-fi. So they're unfamiliar and they just don't know. I encourage anyone and everyone who has an interest in technology of today, technology of the future, technology of the past, to go back and watch Sliders. I said Sliders. Sliders. Go back and watch Quantum Leap. Go back and watch Stargate, Atlantis, SG-1, all of them, every single one of them, if you can find the time. Because check this out, spoiler alert, they're all kind of relative in that they're all kind of the same in some way. I don't want to ruin it for you. I would say to you, if you're interested in in other words, science, technology, sci-tech, if you're interested in sci-tech, if you're interested in beyond the horizon of space-time, over the horizon of space-time technology, don't wiki any of the following TV shows. Just don't even look them up. Don't see what they're about. Just don't even do it. Don't ask anyone. Don't look up any information. Don't Google anything. Check out the TV show Sliders. Find it if you can legally. If you can find it on the web where there are some episodes, start at episode 1. I wouldn't jump around. That's going to ruin things. Check it out, man, from the very beginning if you can. If not, and you start somewhere after the beginning, it's okay. But I would encourage you to start at the beginning. Sliders, Quantum Leap, same thing. You'll find out they're very similar. In a good way, not a bad way. Same thing. Stargate, the same. Similar. Parallels. In fact, there's another show, if you can find it, called Parallels. So I would say 4 such shows. And I can keep going. There are more. They're all relative in that they're essentially the same. They're kind of sort of mirror images of each other in different ways. I'm not saying that they're the same production teams. I'm saying that they have a lot of similarities. A lot of similarities, a lot of parallels. And as stated, one of the shows that I have added to the list, the original list of 3 to make for 4, is a show called Parallels. Check that out too. So, these shows, what's the point? You're probably asking at this point. Well, here's the point. In relation to what I first started talking about on this particular episode, this here episode of fucking C4CW, Casting 495, Celebrities Worldwide. The earbuds, the protruding headphones, wireless Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, that you see people with now, all around you, walking around the landscape. Spoiler alert. There is an episode of Stargate that, if you have seen Stargate, you may have not seen this particular episode. You may have seen dozens of Stargate episodes, and you might not have seen this episode that I'm referring to. You might not have watched Stargate at all, so this will be brand new for you. Again, spoiler alert. So, there's this episode, one of my favorite episodes of all time. I've thought about it ever since I saw it for the first time. And it's been in the back of my mind because something told me that that particular universe that they travel to is and was a plausible, not only a plausible universe, in other words, not only potentially very real in relation to our own universe, but that it would in fact happen at some point in our universe. It's so close to reality. When I saw this, when I saw this back, I believe in the early 2000s, I said, that's kind of creepy. This is a creepy fucking episode because, dude, I think I have this gut feeling this shit is going to manifest. This is gonna be the fucking future of this timeline. That's how fucking close to home it was. And check it out. Was I right? Was I correct? Was I close? Was I kind of fucking correct in that assessment? Out of all of the different parallel universes and different universes and other universes and galaxies and star systems and exoplanets, of all the different systems that they travel to, in Sliders, in Quantum Leap, in Stargate, in Parallels, the one fucking episode that I saw, of Stargate, turns out that shit was fucking right now. That shit is right now. Yo. They go to this system, man, where people in that Earth timeline universe, again, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know how it pans out, how it works out, what happens in Stargate, the TV show, I'm not talking about the movie, I'm talking about the TV show. By the way, this is a mobile podcast. You might want to tune out right now and not listen to what I'm about to say. Okay, for those of you who stuck around, yo, they go to this universe. And you're probably like, bro, come on, man, the suspense. Come on, bro, come on. Like, just get to the fucking point. I am, man, but you gotta understand, when I saw this fucking show, this episode of Stargate, back when I did, I fucking knew. Something told me that is the future. Well, that is a future. Yo, that is most likely going to become for fucking real. In fact, it is real on some level. Somewhere in some time. And I said to myself, this is what I also said. I said, you know what? I know in some space-time dimension, of all the different strange, weird ass fucking bizarro universes that people can travel to, potentially, possibly, most likely. Yo, this one that I'm seeing is already somewhere in space-time for real. Because look, man, spoiler alert. Not going off subject. I'm on point. 100% on topic. One of the episodes of Sliders, just to jump the sliders, okay? Pun intended, just a quantum leap jump to Sliders. In other words, to Sliders. In one of the Sliders episodes, they go to this universe where there are these huge fucking like bumblebees that are fucking like the size of like pterodactyls and shit. They're like flying around, these big ass fucking jumbo bees and shit. And I'm like, yo, that's kind of like World of the Lost and shit. Like that's a little out there and stretching it a little bit. I don't know, dude. There's probably some weird universe where they got some big ass bees like that, but that seems kind of fantasy, kind of stretching the imagination a little bit. But again, who fucking knows, dude? If you can imagine it, it's probably out there somewhere. Okay, so that's Sliders, but not all universes of Earth that they travel to in Sliders. Not all universes that they travel to are that far-fetched or that far-flung or that outlandish, okay? So I don't want you to get that impression of Sliders. A lot of times they go to Earth, and it's Earth just with some fucking degree of reality tweaked a little bit. They're like less than 1 degree of divergence off from the Earth that they come from, dude. So it's like 1 atom's changed, 1 micron, like 1 fucking tick of a pixel of a fucking fractal. Everything else is the same, okay? So I don't want to mislead you and have you believe that when they travel to these different dimensions, space-time, Earth dimensions, in Sliders, that they go always to some weird fucking like wacky universe with big-ass jumbo bees and shit flying around that are the size of like 747s. Not saying, or small prop planes. Not saying that. That was one particular episode, and that shit was weird as fuck, yo. But yo, back to my point that I started with. They're all related data points. It's all one quantum superstring. So don't think I'm going off on a tangent. Yo, the episode going back to Stargate that I've been leading up to this whole time. They go to this universe, man, where humans are wet wired into, basically neurally jacked into the internet. So everyone on this planet has basically like, on Earth, they have this fucking super intelligence. Now, Stargate's not the first science fiction show to depict that. Anyone who follows sci-fi, anyone who has the ability to deduce and infer rationally using critical thinking, problem-solving skills, one knows, it's obvious that fucking Stargate isn't the first. I mean, come on, dude, there's got to be science fiction books that talked about wet wires and wet jacks and things like this going back in time, so far, many decades and generations. We're talking about cyberpunk culture, just in case some of y'all niggas don't know. You ain't privy. And y'all kind of a little clueless and shit in terms of science fiction. If you ain't science fiction buffs, if you ain't science fiction aficionados, you might not have ever heard of, you may have never heard of wet wires and wet jacks, jacking into the web. And I'm not talking about in a weird sexual, deviant, weirdo, fucking, or non-deviant, just sexual way. I'm not talking about jacking like that. I'm talking about taking a component of digital nature. In other words, basically a jack, like a headphone jack, like a probe that you will put into something, a hole, right? Like an anal probe. Taking a jack and jacking it into your brain socket, your cerebral cortex, your neocortex, your cranium, taking a fucking jack and jacking it in to your brain to connect to the internet, to your spine, your spinal column, somewhere where your central nervous system, your brain, your spine, your thinking process connects, connecting material outside your body to your body, plugging it into a socket. Boom, now you're connected to the internet, and now you have superhuman motherfucking goddamn intelligence, right? So that's wet wiring, wet jacking in, if you didn't know. So taking that from cyberpunk culture, drawing from what was called cyberpunk culture, and still is, which is old school. It's old hat for those of us who know. This particular episode of Stargate was so eerie, was so creepy, man, because, and the hair is standing up on my arms when I say this, yo, they would connect to this red dot that would it would be on the wall, and if I'm not mistaken, it was maybe this is a false memory, I'm gonna have to go back and check it out. It's been
watch out, vehicle stopped on road ahead.
How long it's been, man, when this episode first debuted, but shit, man, 20 years ago, some shit, 15, something like that. But there was this little red thing that would move around the wall, and it was the internet. And then you put this fucking thing on, jack in or whatever, put it on the side of your fucking temple, and you would just be jacked into this thing, this fucking sensor thing that would send out, broadcast this fucking signal. And these people, man, in this universe, they all had this shit. Because if you didn't have it, you didn't really know shit. You were just kind of a simpleton. You're just kind of simple, man. Just kind of dull. You didn't have any information about too much of any fucking thing. So, again, in this universe, you put on this little thing, and you would be fucking jacked in. Your brain would jack into the fucking web, and you had all the knowledge, all the information, pretty much every fucking kind of data you could possibly conceivably want to have access to. And it was instantaneous. Yo, right now, what you see happening is the precursor to that shit. Of course, I'm not the only person who's been talking about this concept. It goes back in time. But yo, it's happening right fucking now, man. And some people haven't made that connection. Get it? Connection. Some people haven't made that connection thus far. See the duality there? I'm talking about, yes, some people haven't made that association in their brains, in their brain, in their minds, in the mind. They haven't figured it out. That shit from science fiction lore has become science fact, and it is fucking real as fuck now because they don't understand that what you're fucking seeing is that shit. It's just one notch down from it. Because we're going to go from what you see now, where people are walking around with the earbuds, they're walking around with the wireless headphones, headsets jacked into their ears, they're connected to the web. Next thing you know, it's going to be the motherfucking eye. Okay? It's going to be the lens that they put on, which started with Google Glass. And if you go on Google and you look at technologies of the future, eye augmentation, implants, you can clearly see the lens that's coming, that everyone knows is coming, who has been following this shit. And you can see that it's actually already here and it's already been developed. You probably don't see people at the time of this recording, when it was first recorded, walking around with the lens in their eye. You probably don't see that. You see the headphones. You see the protruding white Apple and other brand iPhones. You see that. Headphones is what I meant. You see the earbuds. You see that. Remember, it started with the Bluetooth. Remember the old school Bluetooth with the little blue? Think about it. The Bluetooth shit, when it first debuted and people were walking around with the little blue light, that's the same shit back then even. That was really, truly the first real true precursor lead up to Stargate episode being real, becoming real, which it has. It was really the Bluetooth shit. And I knew that back then. So this is really the second fucking step. Really scam likely. Fuck you, I'm spam, motherfucker! Dismiss, bitch! So yo, that was really the Bluetooth when people were walking around and they had the little blue light on their Bluetooth shit, okay? That was really the first incarnation, the first precursor. Now we've entered stage 2. This is stage 2, phase fucking 2. The next shit, the third iteration, the third incarnation is the shit from Stargate. You got the lenses where people are going to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, Google that. And they're like, whoa, dog, wait, yeah, here's the answer. And you're going to be like, yo, where's your phone, man? Like, what? How are you doing this? And they're like, oh, I got the lens. What the fuck are you? Oh, shit, what is that in your eye, dog? Yeah, man, I got the lens, homie. I just look shit up on the web with my eye, man. I just, I access the internet optically, I just say some shit. It's all Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 5G and whatnot, man. And I got instant access, dog. And you didn't see anything in my ear? Yeah, because, man, it ain't built the same way that it used to be. You don't see the earbud because I got another little device and it goes right here and I can hear it inside my ear canal. So I ain't got to put the little earbud inside my ear. It's just the eye and the little device right here. They connect and they work together in tandem. So, yeah, man, just whatever I need to know, I just, speak it and boom, it just goes, into the ear canal. And yeah, dog, I'm wet wired, homie. I'm wet jack. Yo, as I have clearly pointed out, people not listening to this podcast who don't know, they don't know. Those of you who are listening, you know. Some people, man, they're walking around with these technologies, and keep in mind, again, they do not know about sci-fi. They've seen some fucking Star Wars, a couple little glances when they've looked over at the screen at like Star Trek. They're unknowing. They don't know where the technology's going. Look, man, I watch, like most humans, I watch YouTube videos and do research all the fucking time. The flying cars, the whatever invisible tanks, invisible cloaks that soldiers already have where they are cloaked and invisible, and it's not sci-fi because it already exists. The military has already created the shit. I watch these technologies all the fucking time develop, emerge, and know that they're here now, like a lot of you do. And you know what's coming too. And then I talk to people who are working class professionals, doctors, lawyers, bankers, economists, biologists, scientists. And I'm like, yo, did you see the one thing on YouTube, man, where like DARPA already created the shit that like travels through time, space? And they're like, nah, I ain't seen that. Like, are you sure, man? That sounds like science fiction. And I'm like, you're a fucking lawyer, right? You're a fucking doctor, right? Like medical doctor. You're a biologist, you're a botanist, right? You're an ecologist, you're an ontologist. Like, you're an ist, you're a scientist, and you fucking don't know that quantum computers were already fucking built and that they're being used by the U.S. military and Google and fucking DARPA? No, what the fuck, man? And they're like, no, man, that shit's still, Grove, come on, you're tripping. And I'm like, just Google that shit, fool. Just look that shit up on YouTube. And then they do, and they're like, oh, wow, I had no idea. Now, those are scientists that have no fucking idea. And they think that the shit that I'm seeing on a daily basis that was already developed a long ass time ago. Keep in mind, whatever you see that the military, our government says, has already been developed. I'm not talking about shit that is underdeveloped. I'm talking under development. I'm talking about shit that has already been developed where the U.S. military, our government, U.S. defense, science, intelligence community, our defense science community, doesn't have to be the military, civilian science, intelligence community, the shit that we have fucking designed, we have built, we have fabricated, we have made that is legit, prefabricated, fabricated, in other words, the fabrication of materials, the design, the materialization, making the shit, material science. Dude, the shit that we've already made that was previously classified, when you see it on YouTube, And the government's like, yeah, this is declassified. We've already made this. This is no longer under development. It already exists. Even though most of the public don't even fucking know that this video exists on YouTube because they're too busy watching like Britney Spears videos or whatever. Beyonce or fucking whoever, whatever, right? I got to use a male counterpart as an example. Who would be in the rap game right now? Little Pump videos and shit, because motherfuckers is too busy watching Little Pump, videos and shit, right? I gotta have another dude to match the two women who do pop. Who else is fucking who's doing the just give me a moment, man. I gotta think. I gotta go with Little Yachty, man. Little Yachty. Little Pump, Little Yachty. Too busy watching fucking Little Yachty and fucking Little Pump videos and shit. Most people don't know that these videos, these technologies, they're right there in fucking plain sight. It's almost kind of as if they're hidden. They're not hidden. It's fucking right there, but they're hidden from these motherfuckers because these niggas is ignorant. These people are fucking ignorant and they have no goddamn idea that these technologies are not futuristic. The future is now. So, if scientists don't know this shit, some of them, because they even think, oh, that shit's still, under development, and it's like, no, man, it's really not, though. Okay? So, if they don't fucking know that DARPA's created this shit, then, it's like, come on, dude, what the fuck? How clueless can you be? Oh, that's right. You're just busy with your life, doing whatever like shit you do. And you didn't know that we already designed invisible tanks, invisible planes, fucking micro drones that are invisible, that can creep through niggas' spaces and are invisible drones that are not these large ass, big ass drones that we used in the Gulf. They're fucking micro drones that are invisible and shit, nigga. Okay, so check it out. We created that shit, and the fact that you can see videos for these types of technologies and it's declassified information, my point is whatever exists in terms of being able to see that empirical data, the fact that it is declassified, those technologies were created decades ago. That shit is old now. You get the point? Some people think this shit is brand new. If the government lets you know about it, it was created decades ago. It was really, truly, technically created decades before mainstream society was allowed to see it. And those in mainstream society who see it right now, the few of us, the finite, very small, tiny fucking group of us who know that this shit already exists, man, imagine the larger mainstream public that has no fucking clue, dog.